I think the translations of the Sutra in different languages are, you may have received it in your email, but it is also shared in the chat if you would need that. If you need that, you can easily find it there. Wow, this is a very, very vast sutra. And it's going to be a challenge trying to finish it today. So we have 2 sessions. So yeah, we have 2 sessions today. All in all, for the Sutra project, we wanted to have 5 sessions. One for each of the previous sutras. And now 2 sessions for this particular sutra, the Rice Seedling Sutra, Shalistamba Sutra. Before we go into it, I would like to request you to have recollection of Buddha, exactly like as we discussed before now. There is nothing new to add to it. Just we, as disciple with full of devotion, looking up at Buddha, who is seated under the Bodhi tree, with a faint smile and his gaze fixed upon us. And left hand in meditation posture, right hand touching the earth. In such a timeless, I think we are hearing the Spanish translation here too. I don't know how that is happening. Yes. So in such a timeless sort of vision or posture of the Buddha, we rest our mind just watching that. Thank you so much. The sutra, actually, we translated, me and Rebecca, we were part of a translation group, and we were told to translate it in a rush, because His Holiness Dalai Lama was going to teach this sutra in India, and they needed this sort of. They had contacted 84,000 for the English translation, and I guess no one was willing to do it. So we were the new translation team. So we got it. And yeah, I must say, we did whatever we could at that time. But even now, when I look through it, I see some places where I think like, that could be better. That could be better. So whatever mistakes there are, and whatever inconsistencies, we apologize. Our translation team was called Dharma Sagara translation team, because, well, that is the name of Dzongsa Khyentse Rinpoche. And that is also my name, so we were like, oh, that's not a bad thing, Dharma Sagara. It means ocean of Dharma. I hope to revive that group one day. Now it's kind of scattered, throughout the process of working for 84,000. We had 2 different Sanskritists, one English scholar. Then we had one Chinese scholar, yes, like that, So but now it's everyone is living everywhere. Anyway, so yes, this text is translated by us. So I'm very happy that we could somehow, use the translation. I mean, of course, I'm sure people are reading it and downloading from the 84,000 website, but it is very rare that you get to go through a text that you yourself were a part of in translation. How to start? In one of the sutra, this is what Buddha said. He said, Sangye namgi chotemba, demba nila yanda ten, jikten kunzup demba dan tambi 20 demba. He said, whenever the Buddhas teach, they teach based on the 2 truths, 2 different types of truths. Jikten kunzup demba tan. The truth of the worldly beings, mundane beings, which is the relative truth. Whatever that is true in front of the sort of worldly beings, for the worldly beings. And whatever that is true for the sublime beings. Hence we have relative truth and ultimate truth. We take it for granted whenever we hear such things like Buddha taught relative truth and ultimate truth, and you think, yes, of course, what else is he going to do? But wow, I really I suggest that you try to look around in any other religious tradition or philosophical sort of school of thought, or even scientific, see anywhere, look anywhere you want, and then try to come up with the equivalence of ultimate and relative truth, or just contemplate the necessity, the brilliance of teaching ultimate and relative truth. This is so, really so wonderful. Shantideva says, in the 9th chapter, he said, the ultimate is not an object of mind. Ultimate is not an object of mind, because mind is relative truth. Mind is a relative phenomenon. It's a phenomenon belonging to the relative truth. What it means is mind and its object, basically subject and object. This kind of dualism, all of it belongs to the relative truth, meaning they they appear, they arise, but they do not really exist. So relative truth. While ultimate is beyond mind, beyond the reach of mind, beyond the reach of subject and object. So the ultimate truth the Buddha have taught, or Shantideva teaches, the ultimate truth is really, it is pristine, it is untouched, it is unstained by conceptualizations of what is and what isn't, or what exists and what don't exist, or yes, what is subject or an object. Ultimate truth is beyond subject and object. So this is the fundamental of Buddha Dharma, Buddhism, Buddhist religion. I heard that some people get uneasy when we call Buddhism religion. Like, who cares? It's a religion. Teachings of the Buddha. Time and again, the Buddha have taught that the purpose of his appearance, the purpose of dharma, is not to teach relative truth, not even to teach the two truths, but the only purpose of dharma is to teach the ultimate truth, to lead sentient beings to the ultimate truth. And for that, everything else is a tool, is a mere tool. But the birth of the Buddha, the prince, sort of the birth of the prince, and the prince growing up, and the prince renouncing and meditating, and what else, becoming Buddha, and then giving teachings of Four Noble Truth, of impermanence and karma. And for example, here today we have the 12 links of dependent origination, or let's just call it a dependent origination, just that, all that is for only one purpose, and that is to liberate sentient beings, is to awaken sentient beings. Awaken to what? The ultimate truth. Awaken from what? From the sleep, from the slumber of ignorance, unawareness. So then, in this way, when you look at dharma, it really, we will really sort of understand the middle path of Shakyamuni, or else it becomes too dualistic and maybe sometimes even almost theistic. When you look at dharma, then you treat Buddha almost like a divine being, and what else? You study things like karma and take it as something that is really there, something that will punish you or reward you. I don't know, yeah. So it becomes really almost difficult to differentiate between the Buddha Dharma and any other types of dharma, any other types of teaching, So what really makes it special, what really keeps Buddha Dharma on the middle path is that it is permeated, it is infused completely with the view of emptiness. The conduct and the view goes together, and that is the meditation. Wait, let me not waste a lot of time on the introduction. But so this is what Chandrakirti said. Chandrakirti in his entering the middle path. Sorry to the translators, but yeah, entering the middle path. In this text, he said, he said the relative truth is mere means to realize the ultimate truth. So the relative truth, the teaching of relative truth is like a setup, like a cause for the Buddha then to go on and teach the ultimate truth. So, yes, this is what Buddha really wanted to teach. This is what we really need to realize. And of course, it is not to say that the relative truth, teachings of the relative is not important. Not at all. It's very important. But the most important is the understanding of the view, the emptiness. When you understand the view, then the teaching of the relative becomes a real path, a real practice of the relative truth becomes a real path. When we don't understand the ultimate truth, then the practice of the relative truth becomes mundane path. It's not a real path to liberation. So, however you look at it, the view becomes most important. Of course, you may ask, what about compassion? It's a relative teaching, right? Yes, compassion, bodhicitta, these are all very important. But most important is the understanding of the view of the reality of phenomena. Let's say that is settled. Now, what obscures the view? What obscures the reality? Maybe I should say like this. What obstructs the view from being born within us? The wisdom to be born within us. What stops it? What is stopping it? What hides the reality from us? So here, then, we are taught that there are two types of obstruction. Inherent sort of unawareness, and imputed unawareness or inherent ignorance. Maybe that's easier for people to understand. Inherent ignorance and imputed ignorance. inherent ignorance is the type of ignorance that we are born with. We are born with it. We do not, no one has taught us, no one has urged us to have this ignorance. We just have it. We don't know why do we have it, but we are born with an idea, with a feeling of self. We are born with the notion that I am different than you. What happens to you do not affect me. What happens to me, only I will experience, like this type of separation from everything else. That is inherent ignorance. You separate from others with the notion of me. So this everyone has. Whether or not they can conceptualize it, whether or not they can articulate it, but insects, animals, birds, whatever, humans. If there is a celestial beings like God and goddesses, why not? They all will have it. That is called an inherent or innate. Sometimes they translate it as innate or inherent, same, meaning something that is there, sort of within your nature, so to speak. Ignorance. Then there is another one called imputed ignorance. This one is learned. This one you have to learn. Ideas like there is a creator, energy, or God or goddess, or there is a permanent self within me, which is not my mind, not my body, but something else that is there that will go, all that will go from this life to next, the whole idea like a soul, Yes, this is called imputed ignorance. And this is learned from others. So here, we mainly talk about dependent origination, right? Dependent origination. So, right. So, usually, before you try to attack, the inherent ignorance, the one we are born with, you have to get rid of the imputed ignorance. You cannot destroy the inherent ignorance if you do not first remove the imputed one. Okay, the example, very simple one, is like this. We all have self-grasping. We all think in terms of me. Now, if your mind is sort of normal, you only have the sense of me, but you don't really know who you are. You don't have a clear idea of what you are. You don't think in terms, you don't think like, oh, I am the body, oh, I'm the mind, oh, I'm both, oh, I'm neither. You don't think like that. And that is quite good, actually. It's bad. It's samsaric. It's the source of all suffering. But from all the bad, it is good, meaning it is much better than the imputed ones. What you have is what everyone has. So it's like a sort of a general suffering of samsara. So, it's not so bad. Now, the imputed self-grasping is this. A person goes to follow a philosophy, that tells you something like, oh, you know, your body, that's not really you. Your mind is also not really you. The real you is hidden even from you, you know, and whatever they call it, like a soul or a self or Atman, doesn't matter, whatever they call it. Now you change. Now when you think of me, previously it's very innocent, you know, am I just me? Oh, I want to go. And you know, only when someone asks, who are you, you start thinking, because you really don't know. So, you know, and sometimes you think you are the body, sometimes you think you are the mind, sometimes you think it's just the entire gathering of you know, yourself. And that's more very sort of very sort of a natural samsaric state. Whereas now it's sophisticated. You have a fixed idea of what you are. And you may even have a definition, and you may quote someone, something. That is an imputed self. So without removing this, without first attacking this, you cannot sort of think about or meditate on the selflessness of you know, an individual. First, you have to remove you know, the imputed self. First, you have to remove the the imputed ignorance. So here, wait, I'm sort of feeling that I'm going a bit away from the topic. Gosh, this is so vast. Okay. So now, imputed ignorance, this type of it's maybe it's not even not imputed ignorance, but ignorance that are imputation, you know, or grasping on imputation. It's of so there's so many types, but I think we can categorize them into three, sort of these three boxes. So first one, first one, I think then we can say this ignorance about where do phenomena come from and in what way, you know, where does everything begin? What is basically the question of what is the beginning? How do things begin? And yeah, you know, basically that. Then the second one, then easy, you know, where do they remain? Where are the phenomena and how do they remain? And the third one is then where do they go when they pass, when they sort of are no more, and how do they pass? Basically, all of the imputations you can categorize into these three. Wow, there's just now when we're talking about dependent origination, when we're talking about cause and result, you know, causes and condition and their result, we are talking about the beginning of things. How do things begin? You know, yes. What is the beginning of phenomena and how does it happen? So here, in this sutra, Maitreya, or let's say Buddha, you know, he analyzes, well, he teaches cause and effect first. When you read Maitreya is teaching cause and effect first, but then he also analyzes the cause and effect. You see, there is like a two-step. Let's say that there are these two steps. First, the establishment of cause and effect. what it does is the moment the cause and effect is established, all the imputations are removed. What are the imputations? You will find it actually in this text itself, but gosh, where is it? Wait. Anyway, you'll find it. Imputations like yes, what is the favorite of the majority of population of this world is that where do phenomena come from? Oh, from a creator, right? That is the majority of human beings believe in that there is a creator. So that is not an inherent sort of ignorance. We are not born with that idea. We are taught. This is taught to us by somebody. So the moment cause and effect is taught, that is removed. All that, like in India, there are, or even schools, even now there are teachings that says time is the creator. Time is the creator. In a way, it's so intelligent, really so intelligent that even the Buddha, even Maitreya is using something similar in this text where he says the season, he even says the time is the one of the condition, but actually it's really not, but it's in a way it's very intelligent, right? You'll find like that here in this text, Maitreya will also say the space, the empty space, is also one of the conditions, for a phenomena to be born. Actually, it's not, but it's also very intelligent to say that, and maybe we'll discuss it if I don't forget. But so there are so many ignorance that are not inherent, but they are taught to us, for various reasons. Maybe you are born in a certain tradition, certain religion, certain philosophy that teaches why things happen the way they do, and then you believe that, like that, whatever it may be, everything will be removed the moment you watch a seed coming out of a shoot, becoming a tree, giving a fruit. You analyze it. These are the cause, this is the cause, these are the conditions, those are the results. That will remove, the, what is it, such a ignorance that is learned, that has been taught to us. Yes. But then Buddha doesn't leave it there. Then he will analyze what he just taught, the cause and effect, to show that we should not take it also as a how to say, truly existing phenomena, but we should also go beyond that. And he will show how cause and effect, it's just appearance, it's mere appearance, so flimsy, and it's a thin wheel of emptiness. It's just a emptiness wearing a mask. Just anyway, we will get there. You will get there. Please read this sutra. It's really, really profound, and I am so confused. I don't know how to begin. And I wrote so many things down because it's just so vast. Yes, so then in this text, Buddha is teaching both ultimate and the relative truth. Relative truth, he will teach the dependent origination. But while we understand dependent origination, we also will understand the reality of phenomena, the ultimate truth. And that is so skillful. And also, this text is also, large part of this text will deal with karma, and I know last time we had a lot of discussion about it, and today too. Why not? Please, by all means, please, well, you're welcome, bring all your your questions and discussions. Anyway, so this sutra, the interesting thing about this sutra is that actually the real sutra, the real sort of words of the Buddha is only like 2 lines. Whoever sees dependent origination sees the dharma. Whoever ever sees the dharma sees the Buddha. That's it, right? And the rest is Maitreya explaining what Buddha meant. And he does so, and at one point in this sutra, he's quoting other sutra, some other sutra, to sort of as a proof of his explanations, And this is yeah, so interesting. And at the end of the sutra, usually at the end of the sutra, we have, when the Buddha said this, and then the gods and the asuras, what is it? Yeah, devas and asuras and humans and everybody rejoiced like that. Monks and nuns, they rejoiced. But here at the end, we have, when Maitreya gave this teaching, then, like whatever gods and asuras and humans and monks and nuns, they all rejoice. But it is kept in the sutra section. And I guess we will have to take it as a sutra that is inspired by the Buddha. Hence, it is the teaching of the Buddha. So this, you will find it a lot. Those of you who, we went together in, through the history of Buddha Dharma, we talked about it. That some sutras are given, taught by the Buddha, not through his voice, but he puts his hand on the head of a bodhisattva, and that bodhisattva speak. Some sutra is like a heart sutra. Buddha is in meditation. Buddha only sort of arises, emerges from his meditation at the end and say, excellent, excellent Shariputra. No, sorry, excellent, excellent Avalokiteshvara, that. But throughout, Shariputra ask question, Avalokiteshvara give answer, Buddha is in meditation. But all that is considered to be teachings of Buddha. So this one too is like that. That Buddha is not really the speaker here, but he is the source of this. So he is the teacher of this sutra. Right, we should go into the text now. And yes, remember, homage to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. What does that mean? That this belongs to the Sutra Pitaka, okay, Sutra tradition. This will help you a lot. Then when you are reading a sutra or a text that says homage to the omniscient one, immediately oh, this is Vinaya text. Vinaya, not necessarily these not necessarily meant for monks and nuns, but still Vinaya tradition. It's a beautiful weather, but yeah, I have something they call Heuschnupfen. I don't even know what it is. Allergies. They just call it allergies. It's so weird, but yes. So it's a very strange time for me. I love this time because all the flowers are in bloom, but I cannot really hang out in the garden because then I scare all the birds, which I'm very loud. I'm really loud when I sneeze. Yeah, children cry when I sneeze. So then, sorry. Okay, I think Yeah, we just go into it. Then we have, thus have I heard at one time. These two, remember? From thus have I heard at one time, the Bhagavan was residing on Vulture Peak Mountain in Rajagriha with a large sangha of 1,250 bhikshus and with a great many Bodhisattva Mahasattvas at that time. Yeah, all that. The Venerable Shariputra went to this one. You know, this teaches the setup. So, well, who heard it first of all? Who is the speaker here? Ananda. Ananda is the one who gathered all the sutras, remember? So Ananda is the speaker here. And who is the teacher? The Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the Buddha. I'm so happy that we managed to keep the Bhagavan in the translation and not the Blessed One or something like that. Bhagavan. Where? On Vulture Peak Mountain in Rajagriha. So Rajagriha is the land, like the yes, and Vulture Peak Mountain is a sort of a mountain. Actually, it's a mountain top. Mountain with the top of the mountain is supposed to have looked like a vulture who is sort of, you know, like this, you know, seated like this with the wings all in. And so in a way, it's, you know, if you go to the mountain, you'll find that the main, when you go higher and higher up, at the top, it's a very small place where Buddha have taught, you know, supposed to have taught. It's a very tiny place. I think maybe 40, 50 people can sit there. But the text says 1,250 monks were there. How many bodhisattvas? We don't even know. Just monks, 1,250 monks. Yes. Yeah, and many bodhisattva mahasattvas. And that also shows the time. And the teaching is this, the teaching of Shalistam, rice seedling. Because the Bhagavan Buddha, he gave this teaching while looking at a rice seedling. He probably he picked it up or he looked at it. And then he said to the monks, whoever sees bhikshus, you know, monks, whoever sees dependent arising sees the dharma, whoever sees dharma sees the Buddha. So Shariputra heard that teaching, and he had, let's say, Shariputra, the great Shariputra, had some doubts, you know. So let's say like that. And it is justifiable ordinarily to say that if we think of Shariputra like just a arahat, you know, then we can justify this doubt, because they also understand dependent origination, but they don't become Buddha. Whereas in this short sort of, you know, two sentence teaching, Buddha says, whoever sees dependent origination sees the dharma. That's fine. Someone who like an arhat sees dependent origination, understands dependent origination. So let's say he or she sees dharma. Then the next he says, whoever sees dharma will see the Buddha. So this one is a bit puzzling. They don't become Buddha, right? So let's say that is that type of doubt he had. So he went to Maitreya, where he went to the place where Maitreya usually lives, and he met Maitreya. They paid respects to each other, and they both sat down on a flat sort of rock. There, Shariputra asked Maitreya that the Bhagavan Buddha said this. What does he mean? What is the meaning of this? What is dependent origination, he asked. What is the dharma that you will see? What is the Buddha here? What did he mean that you will see the Buddha? How does one see the dharma by seeing dependent origination? How does one see the Buddha by seeing the dharma? By the way, I'm just reading the Sutra, so for the translators or whoever. Um, in the beginning, he gives short answer. In 1.4, in the 84,000 translation, they are numbered like this, each paragraph, right? So in the paragraph 1.4, Maitreya begins to talk about what is dependent origination. Then he talks about it. He talks about the 12 links of dependent origination. And then what is the dharma? And he says it is the eightfold noble path, so when within the eightfold noble path is also combined, sort of included, is the result nirvana. So anyway, and then 1.7, this paragraph number 1.7, who is the Bhagavan Buddha? A Buddha, so-called. Then he talks about what is a Bhagavan, what is a Buddha, sorry. So then he also goes on, these are short answers, just general answer. How does one see dependent arising? And paragraph number 1.8, the beginning, he says, how does one see dependent arising? So then, yes, one sees dependent arising, or one should see dependent arising like this. Now, I think these are understandable if we understand the dependent arising itself, if we understand the dharma. Buddha, well, of course, we can kind of guess. It's either the person, sort of the Buddha, or state Buddhahood, like something that one can obtain, or it's the mind, the omniscient mind. So it's whatever the case, that's kind of, but what is the dependent origination? That's our sort of main issue here. What is the dependent origination? And what is the dharma? And how does seeing the dependent origination makes one see the dharma? Result Buddhahood, I guess, not so much of a sort of doubt for us, question for us. So, yeah. This paragraph numbered 1.10. From here, then he starts explaining, now giving proper explanation of what is dependent origination. This is also, I'm guessing, I cannot say for sure, but I think it is also a very unique Indian approach, talking about cause and conditions. Cause, any phenomena, they'll say, will have only one cause. I've been told that in English you have to write causes and conditions. Maybe, I don't know, but the actual meaning is just one cause and conditions. Any phenomena will have one cause, and then many conditions. So when Maitreya is explaining what is a dependent origination, so dependent origination, in short, is just this. He says that the Buddha said, "Diche pena diche." Something like that, meaning this will be born because that is born, so meaning since the cause is existing, cause is born, in the next moment the result will be born. Just that, the dependent arising here. And then he says, well, the dependent arising phenomena are born from other phenomena, and we can talk about it in this type of two ways. Now, between the result and the causes, before the result and the causes and conditions, there are two types of relation. One is related. One there is a relation of causal relation. One is relation of conditional relation, meaning one phenomena is the cause of the result, and the others are the conditions of the result. And in that way, you can say there is a relation. There is a relation, meaning, yeah, I'm not going to go into the etymology of the Tibetan term delva, but it's basically mean connected. There is a connection, let's say, maybe better than relation. So the first one, he talks about the outer ones. He says there are two types of dependent arising, dependent origination. The outer dependent origination and inner dependent origination. Then the first one, he talks about the outer. Well, and he gives an example of a seed. Now, from a seed comes a sprout. In this case, the seed is the cause, the sprout is the result. Then from a sprout comes a leaf, from this green sort of undiscernible sprout, it forms leaf, So from a sprout comes a leaf. Then the sprout is the cause, leaf is the result. Then from a leaf, a stem, from a stem, a pedicel, from a pedicel, a pistil, from a pistil, a flower, from a flower comes a fruit. See, till this, so humble beginning of a seed, a small seed, to this sort of magnificent result of fruits. The fruit doesn't come from the seed directly. There is a whole process in between. But throughout, any given moment of development, you look, then you'll find that the previous moment is the cause. Present moment is the result. Present moment is the cause of the next moment, like that. Then he talks about the conditions in paragraph 1.13. And condition, he names 6 conditions, right? Yes, 6 elements. Yes, 6 elements. So we have earth, water, fire, wind, space, and season. Earth, yes, of course. You cannot have plant without earth. It needs, you need to plant the seed into an earth. So the earth is important. It supports, it sustains the plant. And then water, of course. Without water, you need to moisten the seed, right? So you need water. Fire, yes, fire here meaning not sort of actual fire necessarily, but the warmth, like this, the warmth of the sun, something like that, that ripens the seed and makes the seed break, right, and transform into the shoot. Then the wind element opens the seed. Wind is the movement. Wind element is the movement, not necessarily like an oxygen. You can understand it like that, but actually it just means movement. There is a movement. There is a change, sort of a coming and going, closing and opening. So there's a movement. That's wind. And then he says space. Space is also a condition, Maitreya says. And then season. Now, ordinarily, of these 6 conditions, only the 4 are real conditions: the earth, water, fire, wind. Space is like a pseudo sort of condition. It's and remember I said it's intelligent to say that, you know, the space and season are their conditions. It's kind of very it's like saying, later you'll find it, you know, here too in this paragraph 1.13, he says the space element performs the function of not obstructing the seed. That's, you know, that's why it's a condition. You know, immediately you see, that's a bit weird. You know, what does it say? Meaning, what it means is that you see this empty space here. Well, you don't see it, but by not seeing it, you see it, right? So you see this empty space here. Now, you don't see the empty space here. It is filled by this cup. When there is the empty space here, I could move my hands around it. But now there's a cup, I cannot move my hands around it. It's blocking. So some philosophers, in Indian sort of masters, they decided, okay, space is also a cause. Space is also a condition. You know, if there is no, so for something to move, to come out, to exist, there has to be an empty place, or else they cannot happen. In a way, it's very intelligent, but right now, first of all, we don't have time, and second of all, we're talking about Madhyamika here, the sort of the highest view of Buddha Dharma. So we, I mean, although Maitreya mentions it here, it's important to know that that's not a real cause. For whatever reason, Maitreya said it, you know, it's Maitreya, you know, like 10th Bhumi Bodhisattva, he knows what he's doing. But for us, I don't want you to think that time is a real cause, time is a real condition, okay? That's really like saying, wow, what is it? That's really like saying, okay, in our garden, we have an apple tree, so it gives apple fruit. How would you process this if someone says, you not having the wish to cut this apple tree is the one of the condition that now you can enjoy the fruit. Think about that. You not having the wish to cut this apple tree, meaning you never thought of, you never thinking of cutting this tree, is also one of the cause while you have an apple. It sounds like a real cause, right? Sounds like a real condition. So think about that, but it's not, it doesn't do anything. It's just that you didn't do anything to harm it. Similarly, it's just that nothing is blocking the seed from, nothing is blocking the shoot from coming out. So then that nothingness is a cause. That's weird. The last one is season. That one too is like saying time is the cause. But like I said, it's intelligent, because when ordinary sort of worldly beings will hear it, they will be so happy, because they'll think, that one I understand. Why? Flowers only bloom in spring. They can say like that. So spring is important. You need the spring season for flowers to come out, or I don't know, like that, yeah, so but it's also not it's also not a real condition, right? Anyway, so then he talks about all that. So he talks about basically what is needed for external phenomena to be born. He says a cause, main cause is needed, and then a lot of conditions is needed. He mentions these 6 main conditions, but there can be so many conditions. Like for a flower to grow well, conditions can be that the wife of the gardener loves this flower. You understand? So the gardener takes care of this flower. See, it can be so many, but the main sort of general given conditions are these 6, but there can be like 100,000 billions of conditions, no problem. Add on. That's okay. Now, what it does is that when you look at all that, you fail to see the works of a creator. If you put water, it grows. If there is warmth, it grows. But any of these conditions not there, it doesn't grow. Meaning it is 100% dependent on these conditions. What does that mean? That it is not dependent on the wish of a creator. And to show that, Maitreya says things like this, because you might think like, haha, that's funny. But of course, the earth doesn't think, like you read the paragraph right after that, 1.14, where Maitreya says, the earth element does not think, I support the seed. Nor does the water element think, I moisten the seed. You might think, oh, of course, why is Maitreya wasting time? Nobody thinks like that. What is important? What is showing, I think, is that, of course, I can only guess, ordinary being, but I think that he's really showing that there is no deliberate wish to create something, that these phenomena, they are not created deliberately by a creator, nor are they born sort of out of their will, out of their wish, that he even says like, nor does the sprout think, I am formed by these conditions. Yet, so then why do things appear? He says, yet when these conditions are present and the seed is ceasing, seed ceases, the sprout will form. That's it. When these conditions are together. So, okay, so the main thing, what is the main thing for the sprout to come out? I really want to hammer this in your head. What the main thing for the sprout to come out is that the seed is destroyed. The seed is destroyed. Of course, you can destroy the seed with a hammer or burn it. No. It has to be destroyed in a specific way. It has to be moistened. It has to be warm. It has to like that. So then when the destruction comes from within, that then the sprout sort of can come out. So anyway. In the stanza, in the paragraph 1.15, that's why Maitreya said that. Why did Maitreya said, yeah, the sprout is not created by itself, not created by another phenomena, not created by both, not created by Ishvara. Ishvara basically is God. Or not created by, not transformed by time, not derived from Prakriti. Yes, time. Some school believe in time. Time is created. Some school believe that Prakriti, like the Samkhya, the early Samkhya, right? They believe Prakriti creates everything, right? So, or some school believe that things happen without any reason. So he says, none of those. It is paramount. It's important that all of these phenomena are there. And when they are there, the shoot will come out. And then shoot is there, all the causes, conditions, sort of, when the shoot is there and the conditions are perfect, then there's going to be leaves like that, Then this part is quite important. Now again, our mind, Okay. So after understanding cause and effect, then you will think, fine, there is no creator. Okay, fine. Everything, because first of all, you should see the role of a creator. What does the creator do that the earth doesn't do? What does the creator do that the water doesn't do, or fire doesn't do? Fine, let's say you understood that. But again, remember what I said. Understanding of relative truth without the ultimate are dangerous. So again, you will start grasping and thinking, for the shoot to be born, you need a seed. You need earth, water, fire, wind, these elements, not a real sort of blowing wind, but the elements of it. and what else? Space. Yes, if the earth is completely there is hard and there's no space, shoot cannot come out. It needs some sort of open, loose soil, right? So space and like that, But then you really grasp it as something really true, and that becomes a problem. That becomes a dualistic grasping. That is a problem. So in the paragraph 1.16, then it says, here, outer dependent arising is to be seen in terms of 5 aspects. Cause and result, external cause and result, they have 5 qualities. And these 5 qualities are, they are not permanent, but they also do not discontinue. How to say, they do not transmigrate. This is very important. They do not transmigrate. Small cause can have large result. And the effect of the cause, the main effect of the cause will only be seen in its continuity, in one continuity. Yes, wow, he says, it is not permanent, meaning the seed doesn't become the sprout. During the time of sprout, there is no seed. Seed is gone, so it's not permanent. It's not permanent. But then again, do you mean that the seed is completely gone during the time of sprout? No, the seed has transformed into the sprout. We have to say like that, but how to say, in a way, the material of the sprout is coming from a previous material, which is that of the seed. So it's not completely gone. So now this is the non-duality of cause and effect, It's not there, but it's not completely gone. Yeah, we really need to talk a lot about this. And like I said, if you ever get to study the text of Nagarjuna or Dharmakirti, Chandrakirti, not Dharmakirti, Chandrakirti, then you should really study this. It will really change the way you will look at things, cause and effect. So, and then small seed can have large result. This is also important. Meaning, yeah, it doesn't have to be exactly same. And also, but the result will be seen in its own continuity, meaning okay, when a tree is only a tiny sapling, a tiny plant, let's say I stab it with my pen, or I write a name or something. After 10, 20 years, it's a huge tree. That sapling, is it the tree? No, of course it's not. But is that sapling completely gone? No, because the tree is there. So, and then even though this tree is not that sapling, this tree will have the markings that I made when it was small. So that's what it means, that the result will be seen in its continuity. Yes, so this will be very, very important especially when you want to understand life after death, like how does that happen? You know, many of you had this question. Okay, let's let me read the oral transmission. It will take some time, and it's almost break time. But before break, I want to read the oral transmission of at least until the end of the outer dependent arising. Right. Where is it? Jagar ke dwar ya shalistam banama mayna sutra pyo ke papa solo jamba shijo tebachim do sanga de chindisa matam jala chazolo dige de de jino jom den de jabo ikap chaki pumbu re le long pong ni changa chu ke long de chumuda chindisa masamba jamba rab mambo da tabje chu de the se na se de shari bu chindisa masamba jamba chambe dhwebara chawe cho sa cho khala terasong terasong de chinne pinjin yang da par gawar chabe tam namba mambo chene du di de ni ga doleb la kho do tene se de shari bu chindisa masamba jamba chambala dige chime so chamba deng de chom den de ji salu chambala sin ke long nam do di sung so gelong da su den je de chung tong ti chue tong su chue tong ti sang ge tong she ka zal ne she te ge ka zal ne chom den de chang mun sung wor chorna chamba de wor shik pe ka zal we do i ten do te i ten ni ji den je de wor chung ni kang chue ni kang sang ge ni kang ji dar den je de wor chung tong na chue tong ji dar chue tong sang ge tong ti ge me ba da chen sem sem be che de na ba share ta ti bu la di ge che 서대도 샤르다티 폴라 디기치메소 좀 바샤리 보들라 좀 된데 주주다보 탐지 쳔베 gelonda student dever chuma thomati chue tong su chue thomati sangye tong she sumba tele den dever chuma kha she den dever chuma she chawani dita de diep di jungla di che beser di che wa de khang de mari pin ji duje nam duje ji number she pin ji min do su ki ji ke je du king re par pin ji sro ji se pa ji lemba lebe ji si pa se ji ke wa ke ji ga she de nyang de menga do ba dungal ba di mi de wa tu pa nam jung de te dar dungal ji pung bo chen bo ba shi bo di jung war jo ro de la Marik Bagao Duje number Shibaga Minga the Sugami the Sugabe Kichituga Rebaga Sorga Sebaga Lembaga Sibaga Gashita Yangam Menga Dumba the Dungaladi Dewa da Imedewa da Tupa. It's not comfortable. Tupanam. Okay. Tubanam Gabara Jurde, Tether, Dumuchi Bashi, Bodi Gabara Juro, Dinajum de Jitin, Diverjum, Shesum, so Chu, Kansan, Pabela Melajepa, the Dida, the Yanda, but the Yanda, the Yanda, Belita, the Yanda, the Yanda, the Timbata. Yanda betting is in Dini Libela, Dini Pabela Melajepa, Shechate. Devo Tapan, the Bachik, do the Jumden de Chus, Chekazal, to tell a Sanga Jumden de Kanjan, Suchu, Tamji, Tuzu Chipe, Sange, Chade, Pabesher, Jichenda. Chuji could the Demba, the Loba, the Melobe, the Zigba, or the Legend of Juma, the Wishina de La Jumde, Deji Sweet and Juma, Tapata Someba, so the Dova, the Jitavuni, the Manor, the Majaba, the Majuma, the Majaba, the Majaba, the Tomba, Miba, the Jiva, the Jiba, the Mitroba, the Zeba, the number of Jiva, my Imperon to Tonwa, the Kangi, Sul, Dita, Chula, Tapa, the so me badam so the jita bunji the manor the majaba the majaba the majaba the toba me badam me badam shiva me shiva thang jiba me badam me roba the seba me the number shiva me imro to toma ti pabe chung umbar to the yanda be the dembe lana me be chuji kur sange lana me be chuji kur sange tongo she song so me ba chi cher den de war she cha me ba juda je janda che bala che jum che me balane mainde thi zer den de war she cha odele jum den de ji Tinci dever chung we seni dor du de katsal ba tingi chi devo de deji jabanam juyaro ma je rochanam ki chuni dine dukba she chawan ne khang di chuni da chune ba ni da me chumi jurba ni da tinci dever chung wa thimba na deji da manor ba deji da shema ba deji da handa ba ni de temba khonna manor ba ni da tinci malo ba ni che chabra song so de tar ya tinci dever chung wa di ni ji chere chung de ni ga chane de ju de ba chane che chen de ba chiro de te chi da nang ki na ba ni so tao Terra Chiruk Dever Jung Veju, the Devakana, the Samuel Nugule Nugule Damadamale Nugule Damadamale, Dombole, Bubule, Nimbole, Medole, Devo, Saveman, and Nugumizun, the Medo, Mena Devu, Pardo Mijum, Savan, and Nugumber, Dejin, Medo, Yona Devu, Pardo,
ngombar do bara juro tela sabe dinyam do tela sabe no dinyam thagi nyugo ngombar do banyam do mesem do nyugo dinyam do da dhane sabe ngombar do so nyam do mesem do dej no medo dinyam do thagi tu ngombar do banyam do mesem ve par do de devo ya dinyam do dhane medo ngombar do so nyam do mesem meji wenja sabe yo nyugo ngombar do chen jumar jurba ne dej no medo ne devo par do yang do ngombar do jumar jur de dara chiro chite devar juma juda devar tawo de jidar chiro chite devar juma chen da devar jidar ta chen kham du bi sir de kham thu po khang da du bi sir chen na dita de sada chute me do no da nam ka da tuji kham nam du bi sir du ba le chiro chite devar juma chen da devar tawo de la sai kham ne saben tem be chawa che do chu kham ne saben ne be chawa che do me kham ne saben thobe chawa che do lung kham ne saben bu be chawa che do nam ge kham ne saben la me be chawa che do tuji kham ne tu ne saben jur be chawa che do chen din nam me par saben le nyugo ngombar do par me jur ji nam chiro ji nam chiro ji sai nam chin where is it nam chiro ji sai kam ma sao me par jur la thej no chuda me to lo nam ka da tuja ma sao me par jur tham je de pale saben ka bana tele nyugo ngombar do par jur tela sai kam ja din nyam do thage saben tembe chawa chawa nyam do me sum so thej no chu kam je din do thage saben lembe lembar chawa nyam do me sum so me kam je din do thage saben yong to thor chawa nyam do me sum so lungi kam je din do thage saben bower chawa nyam do me sum so nam ki kam je din do thage saben la midi pe chawa chawa nyam do me sum so tuja din do thage saben jur be chawa chawa nyam do me sum so saben din do thani thagi nyugo ngombar do nyam do me sum so nyugo din do thani chen da ngombar do so nyam do me sum mechi wenja chen da yona yola saben ka bana nyugo ngombar do bara joro thejin do me do yona de wi par do yang ngombar do bara jur de nyugo ya nyugo te ya thagi ma je chen ma je ni ke ma je wong chu ke ma je ju ji ma jur ranji le ma jo me pa le jam ma je de wenja sara chu de me do na nam ka da di ji kam nam di ne saben ka bana nyugo ngombar do bara jur de te dar chiru chi de de war jong chen da de bara ta o de la chiru chi de war jong wa namba ngar da de nga ka ra ta ba mai ba de me da power mai ba de ju chung le de chu ngombar do ba te da de ju tu o jidar ta ba mai chen na khang ke chiru nyugo ya shen la saben ya shen de nyugo khai ba te ni saben mai la saben ga ba le nyugo chuma mai ma ga ba le jam mai ji saben yang ga la tingi ji se nyugo yang jong de te jar ta ba mai no jidar cha ba mai chen na ngon ga ba saben nyugo ke mai ma ga ba le jam mai chi ma ga ba le jam mai ji saben yang ga la tingi ji se saben galan ni jisang de to me jin do nyugu jebe teiser che par mai no jidar por mai jena gange zra nyugu ya chen la saben jen nyugu ka nya nyugu ka ba tini saben mai inte teiser por mai no jidar ju chung le devo chimbo ngombar dob chen saben chung ta pale devo chimbo ngombar dob jurte teiser ju chung le devo chimbo ngombar dob saben jita ta ba the ta devo ngombar dob teiser te dan ra ve ju tu te dar chire jita devo chung na mangar ta te jin nang ki tenje devar jomaya ni ji chire jong de ni ga jana de de devar chen da dewa ho tela nang de devar ju de devar ga jana khang di mari pe ji duje nam je chawa ne je chen je ga ji je par do kal de mari ba ma jong na duje nam ja meng ba chi de shin de je ma jong do sinna dejin de kya ma jung do dejin de kya ma jung de sen gashi par du yaming ba shin na de dar marik ba yo bale de janam ngom bar do bar jurwa ne kya yo bale gashi par du ngom do bar juro de la marik ba ya dinyam do thage du janam ngom bar do banyam do mesum so du janam je dinyam do tani marik ba ngom bar do so nyam do mesem ba ne dejin de kya wa ya dinyam do thage gashi ngom bar do banyam do mesem je gashi dinyam tani ke we ngom bar do so nyam do mesem be par do de wenjang. Okay, 226. So let's take a break of 16 minutes. That means it's 4:34 German time right now. So after 16 minutes, then we get back and try to go through the text. And now the important parts remaining, that's about the 12th link dependent origination. And I need to not scatter so much so that
it can be precise. Okay, see you. Oh, that's delay. I think most of us are here. All right. Now is the main sort of reason, main part of the dependent origination. Well, actually both, because remember when I said, why would an arahat think, oh, what does Buddha mean by that? Because arahats also see dependent origination, right? But they do not sort of see the Buddha, meaning they do not become Buddha. Why is that? Because now this is completely my understanding, so probably faulty, but one reason is, as Chandrakirti says, for the arahats, the emptiness of phenomena is not important. Seed, fruit, tree, wall, ideas, notions, it's not so important. The most important is the emptiness of self, because they want to be free from samsara. So the direct cause of samsara is karma, and the karma is coming from afflictions. And affliction comes from ignorance. So that's it. They just need to get rid of this ignorance of thinking in terms of me, a self, just that. Whereas here, Maitreya starts with external dependent origination, which is, he treats it almost as equal to the internal, and which it is, because to become omniscient, you have to understand the ultimate and relative reality of external and internal, all phenomena, so that's one, the external phenomena. I'm not so fast at reading, I entered monastery very late in my life, 17. You're supposed to learn fast reading when you're like 6, 7, 8, 9. By 17 is a bit too late, So I read 2 or 3 pages now, and then leave like 4 pages for afterward. This way it's like more chewable. 236, yes. Wanchang marikpa yobole de jona ngombra drup jing jungwara jurwane teishin de chawa yobole gashi per ngombra drup jungwara jurde dedarna nangi tinji dewara jungwa juda dewara taw nangi teje dewara jungwa chanda dewara jidara ta chana kam drubo de besir de kam drubo khanda de besir chana de sa de medalo nam khada number she be kam nam dibale nangi tinji dewara jungwa chanda dewara taw thela nangi tinji dewara jungwa sai kam khang chana thela nangi tinji dewara jungwa sai kam khang chana khang di dine lujis sawe ngobo ngombra dubara cheba dine sai kamshi chawo khang lu dube chawa cheba dine chui kamshi chawo khang luji seba do thoma do cheba da nyang ba nam jubara cheba dine me kamshi chawo khang luji uk chinang do jube luk chinang do jube chawa cheba dine lungi kamshi chawo khang luji nang bub yobara cheba dine namgi kamshi chawo khang luji khang dungkin ji sul do luji mingdang zuki nyugu ngombra dubara cheba dine nambar cheba songa duba da sawada cheba yiji nambar cheba khang dine nambar cheba kamshi chawo kendi da me para lu kevra me juruchi nam nangi sai kam chang sing di shin chu da me da luna nam ga da nam ra kam nang chang war jurla tham je du ba thele lu ngom ra do bra juru thela sai kam din yam do da ge dine lu ji sa ngom ra do nyam do sem chu kam ja din yam do da ge lu ki du be chawa nyam do sem me kam ja din da ge lu ji se ba da thong ba da chu ba da nyang ba nam ju ba
자원념도 매점도 lungi 감자 되는도 다기 뮤지 옥천왕도 주베 자와 자원념도 매점도 남기 감자 되는도 다기 뮤지 난기 다기 뮤지 난 보비 여바라 자원념도 매점도 넘버십 감자 되는도 다기 뮤지 민도 수 넘버 두번념도 매점도 뮤장 되는도 다니 게 대다기 제도념도 매점 미디어냐 젠다 연나 뮤제바라 조로 텔라사이 감니 다마이 신제마이 소마이 저버마이 셀리저마이 시우마이 부메마이 제바마이 마니마이 나마이 다기마이 신수양마이 대진도 주의공도 메가 돌린가 남기 감다 넘버십 감장 다마이 신제마이 소마이 저버마이 셀리제바마이 시부마이 부메마이 제바마이 마니마이 나마이 다기마이 신수양마이 텔라마리 바강샤나 감투고 되다 Nila Kang Chibur to Sheba, the river to Sheba, the Tapper to Sheba, the temper to Sheba, the Tersu to Sheba, the Devara to Sheba, the Tadu to Sheba, the same genus, the Java, the Soa, the Chibu, the Kansa to Sheba, Shelicheba, the Shiburu to Sheba, the Nashi Chawada, Taki Chawar to Sheba, Dita Vulasoba, Misheba Namanasoba, Namanaso, Marikba Shao, Diter, the Heter Marikba, Yunam of the Shada, the Timu, the Tela Yunam of the Shada, the Timu Yin Kain, but in the Marikba, Dujanam She. Chawa ngobo so number ngobo so number sheba da ninji nyawa ninji chungwa nyawa lembe phungbo shibo da ne mingda su la tem be omo nam keche thugo chönam chusum dupa ni rekpa nyongwa ne chorwa la jemba ne sepa phelwa ne lemba le cheba ya si lemba le cheba yang chebe le ni sipa jutele pungbo chungwa ni chewa ke ni pungbo mimba ni gawa ge ni pungbo shipa ni chiwa chi sing nyo de ngombara chapa da chebe nangi yongsu dongwa ni nyangen de chungwa tsik to mawa ni benga demba namra shipa ngai soda dembe midewa nyongwa ni dongalu yila cheba da dembe yiji dongal ni yi midewa sheyang deta wala soba nyebe nyomo ba kanyi ba de dani chukwa shi chao tele memba chimbe chire maripa ma ngombara chebe chire duje namza namra shipe chire number about them becher mindos also kevi go ichir ke chu rek becher rek pau no becher sorwa kom becher se pau never lim becher lembao yang sipa ke becher sipau pungbo chung becher kewa pungbo min becher gawa jig becher chewa nyang che becher nyang to chegi ma becher menga dombo lulan becher dunga wa semlan becher imede nyomo becher chupao cheya te khona me to sing lokpara shete mishe bani maripao te dar maripao na tuje nam sum ngombra dubte sonam nyevar do sonam me nyevar do mai mevar nyevar do dane mari be tuje she chao thela sonam nyevar do tuje nam le sonam nyevar do namar chabar ni de jirwada sonam mai nyevar do tuje nam le sonam mai nyevar do de namar chabar ni de jirwada mevar nyevar do tuje nam le mevar nyevar do namar chabar ni de jirwada din tuje jinji namar chabar chao namar chabar ni je chabar bumbo suje mai bashi da su khai batine namar chabar jinji min da su che chao min da su namar be ke je tuki kone chawa chabar nam chung de theni min da su ki Kenji keje tu je jau keje tu thala ribe so tu chung de theni keje tu gi jenji rikba je jau jitar jita bur rikba chung the da bur sarwa chung de theni ribe jenji sarwa je jau sarwa je da nyong da ngombar ga wa tala prashin ba la bar chen tu de so jenji se ba je nyong da ga ngombar ga wa tala prashin tu de ta du ngo da de ngo da da ma juri ngam di mi don yi yong su mi ton we chir sheng ma ba de sepi Change Lembache Jao, the other men, Jiang Si, the other men, Jiang Sebajibele, Ludanga, Iji Kunawadane, Lemajin Pasipache Chao, Le Tele Jebe, Pumonganam, Dubakai, but in the Sibijin Jawa, Jao, Jening, Dube, Pumbonam, Yonsu Mibadajik, Yonsu Mibadajik, Para Jurba, the Jivin Gaji Jotela. The other thing to were they were the Okay, let's stop here. Right, so now the inner dependent arising, same as before. He will talk in terms of causal relation or causal connection or conditional relation. So what is the causal relation? Causal relation, so each phenomena will have only one cause. So here we have 12 phenomena. Okay, let me just name them first. Ignorance, formation, consciousness, name and form, 6 sense sources: contact, sensation, craving, appropriation, becoming. Then 11th death, 12th old age, 11th birth, and 12th old age and death. So these 12, if you are in samsara, you are, you have to be sort of existing as one of these 12. So you cannot be beyond that. You have to be existing in this sort of cycle of these 12 phenomena. 12 links of dependent origination is so important and such a fundamental teaching that I think every Buddhist monastery, every Buddhist temple, on the wall, you will see this painting of samsara. And then around that paint, so in the middle of that painting, you will see a pig and a bird and a snake. I think, this is supposed to mean the 3 poisons. And around the side, sort of the circumference of the painting, there will be 12 different depictions, and those are supposed to be depicting the 12 links of dependent origination. Now, they are just like a seed becoming a shoot, becoming a leaves, like becoming a stem, that one, until a fruit. So if you are belonging to the mango sort of fruit, plant or whatever, you have to be one of those, either a seed or a shoot or a stem or a tree, or a like that, or if you are if you talk about the process of a mango fruit coming from a mango seed, then you have to talk in this term, and it has to be either one of those, sort of going through either one of those instances. And each instant is caused by the previous one and is the main cause of the next one. Here is very similar. So the first one is ignorance. Just like a seed, the main sort of cause. Then from seed comes the shoot. Remember, when there is a conditions are complete, the cause is the ignorance. The cause is the seed. Then comes the shoot. Similarly here, when ignorance is there, conditions are complete, then will be formation. So the main cause of the formation is the ignorance. Then like this, it will go on and on. So all the 12, they, they're like a continuity. Okay. Then now the conditions, right? Conditions, you can find it in the paragraph 1.25. What are the conditions? Well, the conditions are the 6 elements. Again, here too, Maitreya talks about 6 elements. And yes, earth, water, fire, wind, space, and consciousness. Consciousness, he says. This is so skillful. And this consciousness is the third from the 12 links. We have ignorance, formation, then consciousness. This consciousness, he's talking about this one. Yes, that's the condition.
So, and the conditions are kind of easy. So, wait, do I talk now? Okay, first I want to, maybe I should talk about the explanations of the terms. Now, what does each term mean? What do they mean? It's all here in this text, really. To be honest, I don't even have to explain, but wow, okay. From paragraph number 1.29, the explanation starts. He says, here, what is ignorance? You know, like that. So basically you find the explanations of the terms. He's explaining it almost 3 times, but in slightly different contexts. So first one is, what is ignorant? That which perceives the 6 elements to be unitary. So what are the 6 elements? Earth, water, fire, wind, space. They are basically the component of our body. And then the 6th element is the consciousness, right? So that is the mind. Basically, ignorance is looking at body and mind and thinking that's one phenomena. It's one unitary. It's complete whole. That's always like this, you know. This one is very interesting, that we always think in terms of completeness. Meaning, like our identity, whenever we look at who I am, any moment you will ask me who I am, I will always refer to whatever I am in that moment. You know, I will, like, my nature, if you ask me my definition, my identity, I will not say I am a 5-year-old, even though I will not say. I will not even say I am a 31-year-old. I'm always be this, because right now, my complete idea of me is the present me. Big ignorance. So, so like that, you know, you know, those who always say like, be in the moment and all that. Yeah. So when you don't know, you will make your ignorance stronger. You know, you will look at your present sort of complete self and grasp on it. Gosh. Yeah. So, yeah. And so all that, it is thinking that, you know, I am permanent, thinking that I'm constant, eternal, and looking at samsara as pleasurable, or myself as pleasurable. There are people, views who do that, or yourself as a self, a being, a life force, a creature, a soul, whatever, a man, woman, individual, human, whatever. All these misapprehensions are called ignorance. So the first seed, we are born with it. We do not have to be taught. No one has to be taught this. We just have it. Then when you have such ignorance, then you will have desire towards certain things. You want certain things, you don't want certain things, and you're just ignorant of others. So 3 poisons will be born. From these 3 poisons, you will do some things. So that is called formation, the second one. Then the next one is consciousness. Consciousness. Mind, consciousness. Then the next one is name and form. Name, don't worry, I will explain it Those of you who have heard this before, you know that I will go to sort of how we were born, we go from this life to the next, right? I'll explain it in that context. So name and form. Name means the mind. Form is the form. Then these form have faculties of six sense, or let's just say 6 sense sources. Yeah, don't worry, I'll explain. And then conjunction of 3 factor is contact. What does it mean? Conjunction of 3 factors: object, object like this is an object. Sense faculty, my hand is the faculty, is touches, and there is a consciousness. So that is the contact. Then is the sensation. This is warm, this is cold, all that experience, sensation. Then the attachment to that sensation. I really like this. I don't like this. It is the attachment part. Then the appropriation. Appropriation is wishing something that you want to remain and not wanting something that, and wanting something that you don't like to go. Appropriation, lemba. This is the 9th. Then the 10th is becoming. Is now you do something out of the appropriation, out of the craving, you do something that makes you perfectly ready to go to a next life. That is called becoming. Then comes the birth of a next life, and then which is the 11th, and then 12 is old age and death. And between old age and death, you have lamentation, sorrow, suffering, all that, despair, anxiety, all that. Okay, how to explain this now? I will do it as I always do, because, wow, please keep reading. I'm going to, at the end of this, I have to again finish the oral transmission. There's still 4 more pages left, 4 or 5. And during that time, please read this. This is so informative. You will not find so many sutras that teaches so clearly. I mean, you will find sutras that will talk about it, but sutras that teaches in such sort of clear language is very difficult and somewhat easy for us to grasp. Yeah. Okay, let me first is the ignorance of thinking that I truly exist. You don't think like that. Of course, nobody is thinking I truly exist and going around, but it's implied in everything that you do. Of course, I'm here. I need this. I don't want this, right? So that is the root, or the seed is the ignorance. So that is the center or the beginning of this 12 links. Okay, almost sneezed. That is the 12 links. Then from this ignorance, remember what comes next? Number 2 is the formation. So let's use a bad example of me let's say there are a lot of rat in my house. Okay, there's a lot of rat in my house. So I don't like it. Not at all. So ignorance is there now. Ignorance is, I believe in true self. So then from there comes this emotion. I don't like it when something harms me or something that belongs to me. Rat is harming. Rat is harming my home, my things, my family. Aggression. From this aggression, what do rat poison. I buy rat poison. And I leave it there. Formation, karma. This is the karma now. Formation, how to say, number second, formation, and number 10th, becoming. These two are sort of action now. Okay, out of ignorance, I generate aggression, and then I accumulate karma, which is the formation. Now, I did that to the rats today. It's done. It's February 17, 2022. It's done. I harm them. Let's say they die tonight, tomorrow, whatever. It's done. The karma is done. From, between the second link and the third link, there can be a huge gap. Huge gap. Because the second link is the seed, the karmic action, the seed. Now, for this seed to ripen, you need a condition. You need something to arouse it, so to speak. That is the 7th and the 8th and the 9th links. Those are, what are the conditions that will make the karma ripen? Not the 3rd and the 4th, but the 7th and 8th and 9th. Now let's explain how. I do the karma today. I'm 36 years old, man. But let's say I live until 75, 80 years old. At the time of death, for whatever reason, because of my previous karmas, of course, for many hundreds of different karmas. What do rats do? I don't know. What do rats do? Like they gather things, right? They gather things. They like to hide things. At the time of death, I'm worried about my belongings. Oh, who will get it? Did I hide them well? Did I hide my money? Like that. For craving comes. Very similar to the mentality of the rat. Very similar. This craving brings appropriation. I wish nobody get my things. I wish, like that. I wish it is safe somewhere, like that, appropriation. From there comes the becoming. I might say something like, please don't let anybody take my things, or especially if I don't want, like somebody, please don't let him get even €1 of my money, like that, The 8th, 9th, and the 10th one is becoming. That's becoming. What does it do? It awakens sort of the karma of me killing the rats. It awakens now. Then now I die. Okay, this is interesting now. And I will talk as if the consciousness is moving, okay? But it's just, we have to do that. I will die. And then the next, where do I go? My consciousness will, my mind
will enter the womb of a dog right when the father and the mother are together. My consciousness also present, and they copulate, right? And then my consciousness also enters the womb. That first moment is called consciousness. the third link now starts. You understand? The third link. Ignorance, right? First one, ignorance. Second one, formation. Third one is consciousness, right? But I ignored it. I ignored third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and I went 8, 9, 10. Right? 8, 9, 10. Because that is the proper order actually. It is first, second, third, then 8, 9, 10. And then after the 10th comes the third, which is the consciousness. Why is it called consciousness? Because for whatever reason here he says, because that's that's when the mind enters the womb of the mother. Consciousness, that is the consciousness number 3. When the mind enters the womb of the mother, when our consciousness enters the womb of mother, there is no body there at that time. So it's just consciousness, just the consciousness. But the seed of the father and mother are together. So slowly it forms like in the text they say it forms like almost like a yogurt type. And then that slowly become more and more and more solid, and it spreads and it becomes like a flesh, like a blob. No organ, nothing, no eyes, no nose, nothing, just a blob. That state is called name and form. The fourth one. I know that these are weird, but it's not actually not that difficult if you just pay attention. If you just, what will help is if you write down the 12, and then you mark the first and the second and 8, 9, 10 as the causes and conditions. Like you take them out as causes. So the first, second, then at the time of death, 8, 9, 10 happens. Next life beginning with the consciousness, third. From consciousness, you have then next moment, sort of after some days, weeks, there is like a blob, like a fleshy thing in your mother's womb, the dog's womb. That is called name and form. Name refers to the consciousness. Form refers to that, whatever that blob thing, just that, name and form. Then after weeks and months, for humans, well, for dogs, I guess after 2 months, 2.5 months, eyes form, ear form, like slowly, like mouth and nose. Now, 6 sense sources. What is it? 3, 4, fifth one, fifth link. 6 sense sources. They don't work right now, but they begin to form. Right? I'm not good at this, so I don't know when do they form. But dogs, I guess they give like birth in 3, 4 months, right? So I'm guessing maybe after 2 months that happens. Then they do not really work right now necessarily, but now after some whatever days or weeks, I don't know how, but they begin to function, like ears begin to hear, a tongue begins to taste, like that. So that one is contact. For example, now my next life is in dog's womb, right? So I'm a little dog, whatever, so in the womb, and I have ear now, and there is a noise outside, and noise, my ear and my consciousness meet. That is what is the third one? No, what is this one now? Meeting, gosh. Rekpa, contact, that is the contact, number 6, contact. Then
immediately afterwards, maybe it's too loud and I'm scared. Sensation of fear. Or maybe it's very nice and I like it, sensation of joy. You know, the next one, number 8, is the sensation. Yes. Then, what next now? Oh, the body is almost ready. Body is ready to be born. Then number 11, birth. Number 11, birth. What after birth? From the moment you're born, you start getting old. So old age. Old age doesn't necessarily mean like you're like, what is the dog age for old? Like 15-year-old dog. But old age, what old age means, Gawa means here, aging, sorry, maybe it's aging is better. Aging means is that you just change. You're not like just born anymore. So that, and then death. This way, 12 links so easy to understand now, right? Once more, I repeat, and this goes with everything. What else? Let's say, I protect a life. Still, it is still from ignorance though. Like I have this self-grasping, right? I have self-grasping all the time. And then one day somebody is sort of running away from a danger. And out of, now let's use a good example. And out of compassion or righteousness or whatever ideas I have, so I protect that person. You, me, you know, we protect that person. Ignorance, right? At the heart is the ignorance. But from this ignorance comes compassion. And then you do something good, which is the formation. Then you live for 40, 50 years. At the time of death, because of this strong, so good karma, you're good, you know, you, let's say at the time of death, you also feel like you feel good. You want to do good. You want to be good. You want to protect and help others. Maybe you even die saving others, you know, like that. So craving here is you wanting to help others now. And then appropriation is you really wishing, I wish before I die, I can protect this person too, you know, like some other people. And then you do something to protect that person, maybe you're fighting or whatever. So number 10, becoming. Because of that, then your rebirth, let's say, is in a human rebirth now. It's a good karma, right? You save a human life. So next life you become human. So the 1, 2, ignorance formation, and then at the time of death, 8, 9, 10, begin, craving, appropriation, and becoming. Then my consciousness enters my mother womb, number 3, consciousness. Then slowly, something is forming in mother's womb. There is name and form. Basically, that form is that blob thing, and name is the consciousness. Then slowly, I have faculties, 6 sense sources. But 3, 4, 5. And then slowly, they begin to function, the contact with object, right? Contact. Then slowly, I have sensation. I like something, I don't like something, I'm afraid, I'm happy. Yes. Then I am born. I don't know, what is a good example for a Buddhist, like a prince of Bhutan, you know? So you're born as a prince of Bhutan. Yes, that's good. And you become old and you die. So, but that's a good 12 link dependent origination. Now, for one cycle to finish, from ignorance until old age and death,
Between that, there can be hundreds, millions of other cycle beginning too. Some cycle beginning, some cycle ending, like that. It's not like, they have to happen right after another. No, no, no. You, let's say, us, for example, today, we gather to listen and study a sutra. Wow, that's a great karma. That's a great karma. So, but the source is ignorance, though. I thought, I want to talk about the sutra with the self-grasping. Ignorance. You thought, I want to attend the talk. Ignorance, still ignorance from that self-grasping. But something good is coming out now from this ignorance. We talk about the sutra. Wonderful karma. Then, but at the time of the death, you have other stronger karma. Maybe right after this, you kill your partner, tonight. So that karma is stronger, So at the time of death, something, what is it? The 8th, 9th, and 10th will happen, which will be in the negative form. And then like they say, let's say you kill your partner with a strong skill, you create a formation to be born in a burning hell, for example. Then at the time of death, they say that you feel cold and you want warm, craving. That's the number 8. Then you tell people, oh, please, you begin to think, I want warmth. I wish I could be like, and you imagine like a strong sort of 30 degrees sun, like that. Then you tell somebody, I'm so cold, please give me blanket, blah, blah, 8, 9, 10th complete. And then the next one, the consciousness goes directly to burning hell. So that is that. But all the way through, you have also a lot of good things you've done. But first, the stronger karma will give result. And then after 10, 20, 100, thousands of years, the karma of listening to Rice Seedling Sutra, come together. Then one day, maybe you are born as a pigeon and you see all the, you live in on the beams of a monastery, and the monks are giving you food, and every day you hear them doing puja. And when you hear the puja, I feel so good, so peaceful. And at the time of the death, especially, you die listening to the puja. And you think, oh, so nice, craving. I wish I could continue listening to this appropriation, yes? And whatever that you do, try to keep listening, that becoming. And the next life, your consciousness will go to a place where you can continue listening to the sutras. Precious human rebirth. Number 3, consciousness will start. Okay, so then like that. Okay, like I said, please read the text, because wow, Matthias really explains. He explains the terms almost 3 times, the 12 links. Wow, you're not going to find another text like this. I'm really telling you. So, wait, then what else I want to say? Paragraph 1.50. I wanted to say something there. Gosh. It's about the next life. Yeah, okay. So then last time when we were talking about transmigration, then I said, well, there is nothing that goes from this life to the next. And some people, what? So this is what, again, here it comes again, yeah? And Maitreya is saying it, not me. Maitreya says here, paragraph 1.50, yeah, in the 84,000 translation, and also maybe the translators, in translation in other language also have it, or else please tell the listeners that it is on 1.50. Maitreya says, here there is nothing whatsoever that transmigrates from this existence to the next. Yes, Maitreya says, nothing goes from here to the next. What you are right now, you are never going to go to the next life. Yes. But with the causes and conditions at the end of this life, the result of a next life will manifest. Now, this next life, is it you? No. For example, me, remember when I was getting reborn as a dog, yeah? Am I going to be, that dog? Is it me? Of course not. I am a human being. That is a dog. How can it be me? But is it someone other than me? Also, no, of course not. It is my continuity. I did the karma. Now my, so how to say, sort of future me, so to speak, will experience it. It's really wrong to say that, but just let's say it like this. Future me will experience it, yes. So then how is it? Maitreya says, it's really like a moon, full moon in the sky, and a clear mirror on the earth. Now, when a full moon is the sky and there's a clear mirror on the earth, there will be a reflection of moon there. But how did that happen? Did the mirror and the moon meet to make the reflection? No. Did the mirror go to the moon? No. Did the moon come to the mirror? No. What happened is that causes and conditions were complete, and then the result came. That's all. Now, this is really such a bold expression of Madhyamikans. Madhyamikans will never explain how do causes and conditions give rise to the result. How do causes and conditions impact the result, help the result? They'll just say, for the result to happen, causes and conditions have to be there at the same time, and they have to cease. They cease, next moment the result will be there. That's all. That's all the extent of it. Yeah. So okay. Now go back to the first real sort of teaching of the Buddha. Whoever sees dependent origination sees the dharma. Whoever sees the dharma sees the Buddha. What did Maitreya say? Seeing the dependent origination, he's talking about the reality of dependent origination, meaning the emptiness of it, the selflessness of it. As Maitreya says, anything that depends on others do not truly exist. Sorry, Nagarjuna said that, so not Maitreya. Nagarjuna said, Kanshik Tinjung Mahimba Choga Yoba Maino Teacher Tony Mahimba Choga Yoba Mainos said, Nagarjuna said, since there is no phenomena that is not dependent arising, hence there is no phenomena whose nature is not emptiness. So by teaching dependent origination, first thing Buddha does is remove the ideas that there is a soul or a creator or something like that. Here too, Buddha says, you, whatever you are, You are these 12 links. And within those 12 links, there is no self. You are actually like a jumble of billions of 12 links. Actually, each one of us is a jumble of billion, countless of 12 links. And within those, there is no self. There is no role of a self, no necessity of a self, existence of a self. That is the dependent origin. So when one sees that, seeing that, you will see dharma. And then up there, if you read, I think on the second or third pages, Maitreya says, what is the dharma? Maitreya says, dharma is the eightfold noble path. Yes. So the first is, I'm not sure, but let's just say the most important of the eightfold noble path is wisdom, right? Right view, sorry, right view. That is the right view. Then when you have the right view, which is the selflessness, emptiness, whatever, when you have that, this non-duality of dependent origination and emptiness, that is the right view, right? When you have that, then your speech, you will develop right speech, you will develop right conduct, right livelihood, right until right sort of samadhi, right meditation. All that will happen. So when you see dependent origination, you see the dharma, meaning you will experience the right view till right, meditation, all that, the eightfold noble path, you will then be able to go through it. And then the result is Buddhahood. You will see the Buddha, meaning you will become the Buddha. You gain the enlightenment. You know what? I'm going to stop here. It doesn't make sense for me to do just to talk too much. Wow, this is really, really good. Please read this text. Okay, I will finish the oral transmission now. So this is the end of Sutra project this year. I think, I don't know later this year if we might want to do it, but for judging by the amount of things that we all have to do these days, I think this is the end of the Sutra project this year. And now for the Bodhisattva project people, the Bodhisattva project 2 people, what it means for you is now you will go on to our next studies. After this, I think I want to spend at least 4 sessions on explaining each of the 4 major schools of Indian Buddhism, let's say. Not the Tibetan Buddhism of Satyakati Nyingma, but the Indian Buddhism of Vaibhasika, Sautrantika, Chittamatra, and Madhyamika, these 4. And I guess I can try to sort of combine them in, sort of extract, limit each school to 1 session, I'll try it. But that's what it means for the Bodhisattva project 2 people, okay? And those of you who would like to continue studying like this, we are doing Bodhisattva project, and there is one now. It's no longer open to newcomers now. They're already finishing the ways of Bodhisattva, and from there they will move on to next text. But the 2 is still open. Bodhisattva project 2, we still leave it open. So those who want to join, you can join. Yeah, you will find the information on our website,
And this is really the backbone of our attempt to help beings. And what else do people say? Lengthen the life of Buddha Dharma. That's our attempt. And also the wish of our teacher, Dzongsa Rinpoche, who told me that, right. I will read now 4 or 5 pages and then we're done. Basically, the teaching is done. Now only question answers. So you please, while I'm reading, you also read and try to understand the text, and then we can discuss the text after this reading. Duje mai duma je mai jume ba mai jeme ba mai no ayo ba mai zebe chu mai jibu chu mai go chu mai de thama me betun ju juma che perlongi jun chen de su bo den je de ber ya la chuni bo de dani ju chen de juan chen de je juan ta mai me ta mai duje mai duma je ba mai jume ba mai jeme ba mai no ayo ba mai zebe chu mai jibu chu mai go chu mai de thama me betun ju jume jun me che perlong chen de ju mai ji Then John Yala Chibut than the Dever Jumbayana Junipo, the Duver Javi Juru Juru Shikans, the Mariko Sabata, led the number about the number of Japanese 7 Chiranchi to Jeto, Lene Shingaranchi to Maripa the Sepan and Yoma Baranchi. Tella led the Yoma 7 numbers of Jeto, Della Lane 7 numbers of Javaja, Sepan, 7 numbers of 7 numbers of Mariban, 7 numbers of Dipde. Kendamena 7 numbers of Gombara, Dubarami, Juro, Della Le, Jantinamdo, Takisam numbers of 7 Takisam numbers of Jingacha, and the Museum, so Sepaya, Diniam, the Takisam numbers of numbers of the Museum of Mariban, the 7 numbers of Bataban, the Museum, 7 numbers of Antitani, Kendaki, Cheton, the Museum, and 7 numbers of Palesh. Shabaleji Shingla Temba, Sepilinji Lemba Maripuluji Temba Jewana. Kevin Ning some Zorba Mainga than Ter Minduzuki, Nugu Drop de Minduzuki, Nugu, Takamaji, Maji, Wanjuki Maji, Dijimajur, Ranji Lemajo, Sepala, Leba, Jimmy Balejamaji, down Padamata, Padamatra, Dazenda, Jinshan, Sona, Dabu, maybe Dagi, maybe Zimbabwe, Banamga, Zumba, Jimmy, Zinji, Ranji, Tala, Judajama, maybe Zero, Ning some Zorba, Mainga, the Derano, the 7 numbers of Minduzuki, Nugu, but that Miki numbers of Junge, Judea, Hajana, Mila, the Sudan, Namgada, Deje. Bela Jabalaya, Ila Jabalaya, then Mika numbers of Jongo, Della, Migne, Mika numbers of Betinji, Zawaj to Zune, Mika numbers of Mika Zawaj to Nawan, where Zawaj to Namgani, Mika Zawaj, the Donjova, Ile Japan, some Zawaj to Jendam, and Mika numbers of Jongo, Midujikangizena, Nangike, Mika Mazan, Majorla, Dej, and the Sudan Nawada Namgada, De Donjova, Ila Jabata, Mazan, Major de Tamje, Duba, Mika numbers of Jongo, Joro, then Migni Dinyam the Taki, Miki number 17, Chava Chawam the Mesum to Suja, Dinyam the Taki, Miki number 7, Miki Chava the Mesum now, Dinyam the Taki, Miki number 7, Chava the Mesum number, Dinyam the Taki, Miki number 7, Miki Chava the Mesum, the Jova. Deda Jumba Jabaya, Dinyam, the Dagi, making number 7, some Java, the Museums, big number 7, Dani, the Dagi, the Museum, the Unjan, the Dayopale, making number 7, Jurodation, the one Bolaman and the Namda Jeruzo, Jaro, Della, Chuk, Haya, Jikden, Jikden, Parol, Domi, to the Jamason, maybe related to the Kana, Arab the Chiva Melongi, Jinji, Zunia, Mawaya, Jin, Melongi, Cordoma, Bemeji, the Jamason, maybe Sergin, Dungamba, the days into Dineja, Dineja, Suyanshi, Peba, Mela, Shendoyama, J, the Juda, Jama, Sami, Besser, Leji, the Mumbai, the Penata, Vegil Corona,
Tavajikoni Paze, Shidini Done, Jane, Chungu, Nechungu, Chui, Kanwal, Tavajil Gorgizuni, Nawayan, Tavajikoni, Nedane, Mape, Dene, Chungu, Kanwe, Nando, Sonwa, Miam, Mechi, Juda Jamaton, better Tavajikordunga, Baya, the Dejin, the Dinajans. Suya Shipu Melachend, Maje, Juda Jamason, maybe related to Gumba, the Benna, Beni, Juda Jamason, Masana mi bar juda jen soba le baro te juda dawon buje dagi me ba zimba me ba nam ga sumba jimezeni je ranche dala juda jen nam ma sawa me be sire je ne ningsam jorwa ma ingal te dan teres sabe number she ba le dan nyomo ba nam je ba me me da suku nyu ba tu te tarna nang dinje devar joma jen devar da o de nang dinje devar joma na bangara da nga ga taba ma ba je ma ba for my badan joju jungule de chimbu jungwa da tena de ju du ji da wa mai chen na gangi zara dham chi thame chi bumbo nam jang shen la ke sar do be nam jang shen de thame chi bumbo khang ba tin ji sar do nam mai ji thame chi bumbo nam jang ga la ke sar do bumbo nam jang jung we thi sar da mai no ji da sheba mai chen thame chi bumbo nam ngon ga ba le ke sar do be bumbo nam jung mai ma ga ba le ja mai ji thame chi bumbo nam jang ga la nye tin ji se ke sar do be bumbo nam Sangde Tomin Jindu Jumara Jurda de Java Mino Jitra Power Mine Zim Jinji Rimido and Kawanyambe Gavara Gava Umbra Dube Jir Power Mine Jitra Juchung Jimbushana Lejungu Jepa led to Jimbo and number Mebanonde Page Juchung led to Jimbo Mombara Dubo Jitra Yamara Jurvele Java Tether Yamara Jurve number Mimbanon with Jir Tether to Zumbashar the Boat and Jitavajum then Deji Hunter for somebody Kangla Chiki Hunter for Cherab Theater young the Bajita to talk about Jundu, so me but the sort of the Jita when you remember the Maja, the Maja, the Maja, the Maja, the Toba, the Mibame, the Jiva, the Jiva, the Metro, the number of my but to Tomada, Tomada, Rashi to Tomada, the sort of Sopna, Nimbo, Mebada, Nedan, Dedan, Zungu, Dikpada, Metaba, the Tomba, the Dame, but just Tomba, Chi, Ta, Debituna, Juma, Shikamanda, Ta, Debituna, Majuma, She, Ta, Debituna, Jiru, Baje, Ta, Debituna, Jita, Juruchi, Kunyam, Dumatame, Dogo. Talamido Gochi Mount between a Jumara Joram, de Mount between a Jumara Major Mount between a Cherry Mount between a Jitabuchi, the Jurushi, Jurus Jitabuchi, the Juraniam Dochime, Talamido, the Ditchik, Digitabuchi, Ditchik, Cherry Jur, same gent, the dark Kane on, then a ship and a count of the Jurchi Tatar, Jumala Metokos. Then you see that Maitreya says, whoever meditates, contemplates on this dependent origination, they will not dwell in the past. Thinking, analyzing the past, they will not dwell on in the future, thinking and hoping and fearing about the future, and they will also not dwell in the present. Even in the present, they will also not sort of be lost in the current present world. Somewhat the Bakanda, Yobadi, Tatama, the Dembam, Simjiduma, the Dembam, Sodoma, the Dembam, Sudoma, Kansatama, the Dembam, Gazin, the Rashizuma, the Dembatan, Rumpi, Lapara, the Tower, Yova, the He's in a deep power to the Yonsu share, Yonsu share, Netzawa, Neche, the Tale Goshin to Minavaran, Chi, Mije, Mega, Pichujan, the Zumbashari, Bukang, Lalachu, Chola, Zobadi, the Dende, the Verton, Kong the Chuna tell the digital was Sangi, report the of the rest of the thing with you, the college will have a minimum September, Sangi Chum, then the young of the Sangi, the Duro, Shilan, was long time, and this was some champion ticket men, set the Shariputra, another middle of the research with the around the Champion Championship along number 2 Papa Solution, but she was watching the Dozo, so right. Are there any questions? In the chat, there is some questions, I think. Nicholas asked this question. Why is the order of the 12 links this way and not following the order of ignorance, formation, craving, appropriation? I don't know. Actually, that's a good question.
okay, we are so spoiled because we have people like Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti, and there is bodhicitta and compassion and Manjushri and whatnot. Mahayana tradition that developed now in not developed, but that spread, and now whatever we have, that is Mahayana, do not pay so much attention to the details of the 12 link dependent origination. Whereas in the sutras, they are said to be very important. Very important. This is how you become an arhat, actually. But I understand the Mahayana strategy too, because there's so much to study and practice, and they just make it short. They say things like, ignorance, you make karma, and there will be result. And that's okay, actually, that's kind of enough. That it's not a detailed explanation like the 12 links, but it is there, so I guess that's okay, that's enough. But yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that I don't know why the order is like this, but this is how he taught. And maybe our Sravaka friends have a better explanation, like those who follow the Pali tradition, because for them, this is so important. 12 links of dependent origination, so important. And I'm sure they have far deeper understanding of this than people like us, but it is like that. I remember first time I heard the way I explained today, this explanation, Zamdong Rinpoche, the great learned Professor Zamdong Rinpoche is still alive. I had a cassette. During those days, we used cassette recording, so I had a cassette of that. A teaching he gave in Varanasi, I think, to the school children there about 12 links dependent origination, and that one is still stuck with me, that explanation, and I explained it like that. And also the Sakyapa tradition to the great Korampa omniscient, he explains it like that. So I did that, that how to say, this is called the 12 links finishing in 2 lives. 12 links finishing in 2 lives. And it can also be 12 links finishing in 3 lives. That would be then first life, out of ignorance, you do the formation, the karma. And then I think I also explained that to you, right? Yeah, so like listen to that Sutra, remember? So by the end of this life, the karma doesn't wake up. So after many, many, many lives, at the time of death, the karma awakens. Then now 8th and 9th and 10th is separate life. And after that comes 3rd till 7th, and then 11 and 12. Don't think it's difficult. It's very easy. Gosh, you guys are good with numbers. So Marie asks questions again. Could you repeat in which order the 12 links happen? Okay, so the way I explained, so it happens like this, right? Ignorance, formation. Then, so number 1, number 2, then 8, 9, 10. So in the text, this number 1, 2, when I'm saying it, I'm referring to the text in the sutras. That is the flow of the 12 links, okay? That is the original sequence. But actual experience is ignorance and formation. Number 1, 2, and then comes craving, appropriation, and becoming. 8th, 9th, 10th. Then Number 3 now. Consciousness, name, form, context, sensation. And then birth, old age, birth, aging, and death. That one. I hope that, like, that's why I said, write them down first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 1, 2, main cause. It is awakened by 8, 9, 10. Then goes back to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 11, 12. 11, 12 is easy. You cannot mess it up. It's birth and then aging and death. Yeah. Yes, then Fabiola, Fabiola, but that's not a question. Well, it's, what is it? So I think she's saying she feels like karma is like a god. Then, if you think karma is God, that's very good. That type of God I can accept. That's God in a name only. Call it God. Why not? Gosh, karma God. But, it's just a name. The understanding of karma is intact, then it's good. It's just causes and condition, creating result. Nothing more than that. Well, of course, it is inner causes and condition creating result, right? Nothing more than that. Remember last session, external cause and effect and internal cause and effect, not entirely same, right? But yeah. Okay. So, yes, Amelia.
Rinpoche, when reading here the paragraph 117 and 18, so putting the seed and the sprout, and so the sprout coming after the seed, straight after, but not being originated from the seed. Okay, it says that they are a continuity of similar type, as like my mind, I don't even know how to process. It seems that there is a notebook somewhere. This is the right continuity that leads, a mango seed will lead to a mango. Anyway, but the sprout, I think I'm stuck on the dimension of time, because when I'm thinking about a sprout or a seed, it's not that the seed comes and the next thing is a sprout. The seed stays there for a dimension of time, but at the same time, it's not there. It's all coming from cause and condition. So which means, but I'm labeling a seed for a length of time, but is this probably a constraint on the labeling? Because when you think about a seed and the next moment, it's not that seed anymore, but it's, you know what I mean? It's like there is a continuity of similar type, but then it's not a similar type. It's meant to be still a seed until cause and conditions lead to a sprout.
Yes.
And then there is a sprout. I'm stuck, Rinpoche.
Yeah.
Like,
no problem.
To think about this.
Continuity of similar type is it's still sort of, that's why I said it's belonging to the, if you're talking about mango, let's say, it's belonging to the mango sort of plant, either it is seed or a shoot or a stem or a fruit, whatever it is, it's sort of, it doesn't become like a potato or something else. So that is just that, nothing else than that. That's what it means. That's true. The moment you put seed into the earth, it doesn't become shoot. But that's not what it means. What it means is that here,
each moment, remember when I was explaining the 12 links, then I was saying like, then after some months, maybe weeks, then this happened. So it's like that here too. But when we say seed, the entire time of it remaining as a seed is counted like that, a seed, you know. And then it's going to go through a change, and something green comes out while it is destroyed. It just sort of, you know, yeah. So it's not momentary. It's a whole duration of time, each one. That's okay. It's no problem. Yeah. You know. Yeah. Right. Today you guys only want to type questions. Gosh, what is going on? Is it because of Easter? Hila. The bud comes from the seed and so on. It seems something cyclical, a movement transformation. What sustains this transformation in space? What underpins this transformation in the space? What sustains these transformations in space? I think this space, the same space that is one of the conditions. Okay, if it is not, then please correct me. If it is, well, I mean, space sustains it. With today's explanation is that, because, well, not just space, but the earth and wind and water and what is it? They sustain it together with the space. His space, like I said, it's a pseudo cause. It's not really cause. Here, with the Buddhist understanding of space is basically absence of something. Absence of something is the space. You know, I remember having a discussion with a old friend who's dead now, but he's an astrophysicist, you know. So he was trying to explain these things. Of course, I don't understand it. Then he said something like, which of course all of you must know very well, but I'm sorry if I say something stupid, but he said, you know, one of the first paper he wrote was about, he was calculating the distance a light is traveling, you know, and basically the light was bent by the space, you know. And I said, what do you mean the space bent it? So we were arguing about it, and I feel so bad for him because I was so jumpy at that time, like really like a new Buddhist. So we were arguing, and then afterwards, I kind of, the idea of space is very different, even though we use the same term. But his space is not nothingness. His space is not absence of something, you know. It's actually a lot of things, maybe, you know. But this is not like this here. Here, with this idea of space is just this. Why are you able sort of to see my face? Because nothing is sort of blocking, you know. And so I can say, this space, I can say like that. Why? Because there is no form that's blocking my hand. So this space, moment I say it, it's a mistake though, because there is no phenomena here, and non-existence of the phenomena is named as a space. Just that. Anyway, then the next, what? And Chuki asked the question, I think in Spanish, so please translate somebody.
hear me, Rinpoche?
Yes.
Okay, I'm coming. Okay. She asked that in the sutra, it is said that the cessation of ignorance comes with the cessation of the karmic results. So when this cessates, it produces also that the conscious cessates. And the question is, when we develop wisdom, are we also eliminating these karmic results? And once the conscious stops and cessates, if that happens, what is it then the Buddha nature? Can you explain it?
Okay. Thank you. Now, this consciousness is a very specific type of consciousness, first of all. This consciousness, the third one, is the type of consciousness that is there during the time of entering the mother's womb, or entering the mother's womb, that moment. And that time, of course, is not just like momentary, but it could last maybe days or weeks until the physical form begin to form in the womb, right? That one will not happen again. No ignorance, then no more karma. No more karma, no more entering the mother's womb. Out of karma, right? Just out of karma, no more entering the mother's womb. So that's one thing. Now the other question, when we become Buddha, do consciousness cease? That one, yes, consciousness cease when we become Buddha. Not cease, but nice word Maitreya used is, he says, nidurva, he says transform. Consciousness transforms into wisdom. And that's kind of very gentle, very gentle. People have problem. It's difficult to believe that, that when we see the ultimate truth. I mean, before Buddhahood, actually, when you're on the first bhumi and you see the ultimate truth, you see the Buddha nature, there should be no consciousness. There should be no different types of mind at that time. That's a problem. Different type of consciousnesses grasp a different type of things. Whereas when you see the Buddha nature directly, there is nothing really to grasp. There is no grasping. So I got into a lot of trouble when during school, in Dzongsa, because I didn't like that, now we follow Sakya school, right? I follow Sakya school. So in some Sakya text, there is written, not just Sakya, Kadyu, Gilu, in many texts, it's written during the time when you see the emptiness directly, there's still sort of consciousnesses, And I felt very uncomfortable with it. And then there is one Sakya scholar called Tayyab Lodru. He was a very strange, he was one of those miracle stories of Dzongsa. Gosh, this answer is so long, but anyway, when Chogyal Lodru, Khyentse Chogyal Lodru started the Dzongsa school in Tibet, one thing it became known for was that Dzongsar began to produce sort of world-class scholars within 4 or 5 years. Unbelievable. Even Zamdong Rinpoche, the Gelugpa Tulku, now the master whose recording I listened, he said that when his teacher told him, either you study in a Gelugpa school, which will take 14 to 18, 20 years, or you go to Dzongsar, you finish in 4 or 5 years. And they were really good, and they were good in all traditions. It's like a really almost like a cruel joke on all the other places. Seriously, it was just Khyentse Chögyal Lodro. Everything was perfect, Why I say this is because then at that time there was a man who became also very famous, Thayab Lodro Jase. He was a yak herder until he was 30 something. Never know even how to read and write. Something changed in him one day. He became a monk, and one of the first day of the teaching of the Prajnaparamita Alankara text, don't worry, it's a text written by Maitreya. The moment the teacher recited the first stanza, automatically he knew the whole text. Like we can say he remembered the entire text from a different life. And he was so good, but he was so strange that he was called the madman from Thayab by everybody. Even Khyentse Chögyal Lodro would call him Thayab Nyamba, And he wrote a text, the commentary of the 9th chapter of Ways of Bodhisattva, and there he writes, he's so brave. He said, the wisdom is uncompounded phenomenon. The wisdom of the first Bhumi is an uncompounded phenomenon. There's no mind at that time like that. And Longchen Rabjam says something similar. And also, yes, what was I saying? So, during the time of Buddha, your consciousness transformed into wisdom. What is Buddha nature? Buddha nature is the essence of your consciousness, not the consciousness itself. And that is still intact as the wisdom of the Buddha. Or the wisdom of the Buddha is the Buddha nature. One can say like that, yes. Sorry about that. I got lost in arguments, but this is really difficult question. I really, my teacher got so annoyed, he was a good friend, but then afterwards he sort of got angry at me for some years. Now we're good friends again. Yes, I don't think there's any question now. So thank you so much for participating in Sutra project, and you really made it possible that we can go through sutras, and if ever my teacher asks me, what are you doing, so I can say, oh, I went through 4 sutras, so that's really an amazing thing for me to show something. And thank you so much to the translators. You guys really work so hard. I know how difficult it is to, they, like I said, they translate the sutra too, written translation. And yeah, so kind. Really appreciate it. And Rebecca organized everything. And sometimes you guys send her really strange emails, but she is, I think, still replying. So thank you so much to her and to all of you. Right. So take care of yourself. And yes, see you in some other context then. Sonam de Tamjizik Banya, Tumnin Bidanam Pamji, the Jagana Jibalon Rubai.
Spiritual and dawn over show Chandu Simju Rinpoche Maji Banam Jebaban Jebanyamba Mebaya. Kone Kondo Pelvara show Jambal Bago Jidra Chimbadan Kundu Zambote and Dejindi. Tetakunji Jesu Dalo Jingewa Dida Tamje Rabdo. May I, in all my lives, carry far the weight of Buddha Dharma. And if I am not capable to do so, may I always be worried about the longevity of Dharma.